Today I'm in Mexico, my favorite country for booking Airbnbs. One country with so many different climates and environments, and there are so many amazing, affordable options to choose from. Since I live on Airbnb full-time, from one to the next, I've learned a lot of tips and tricks that I'm sharing with you in this video when it comes to finding and booking your own. I'm Phil, welcome to my channel. On this channel, I talk a lot about branding, social media, life as a digital nomad, and practical advice to look good online. If this video interests you, this topics interest you, consider subscribing, and I'd love to have you hit the bell to be notified when I post next. This video is a little different than what I normally do, but I'm excited. First, I'll give you a quick little tour of the apartment, then we'll meet back here to debrief so I can share a handful of tips and tricks that I think you'll find useful. Let's do it. I love living in Mexico City for a few months at a time, and I love visiting Mexico City even if it's for a few days, especially when the apartment looks like this. This apartment is in Condesa. I got it for roughly $70 a night, and I'm staying in it this time for only 4 nights. It would be less nightly if I was staying here longer, and I wish it was longer. I also think it's pretty well designed, considering it's primarily used as a rental. Often rentals have basic, cheap furniture and finishes, so you kind of have to lower your expectations a little bit unless you're paying significantly more. This one is great, and I love the view. I picked this Airbnb because I'm filming a new course, so it's gonna look just like this. It looks awesome. I'm also a brand strategist and a course creator. Now feels like a good time to mention those courses. I have 3 right now and soon to be 4 courses on content marketing, email marketing, and Instagram, which I'll link to in the description below with a promo code if you're interested. My way of saying thanks for hanging out with me today. So I've shown you through the apartment. Now let's talk through some tips and hacks for finding and booking Airbnbs. In Mexico, these apply, but these tips pretty much apply to anywhere. Tip number 1. Always, and I mean always, confirm internet speed beforehand. This is hugely important for anyone wanting to get work done while you travel. Maybe you're a digital nomad as well, or an entrepreneur working remotely. Don't just ask if they have Wi-Fi or what the speed is. Oh no. Ask for a speed test before booking. I love the handy, free website and app speedtest.net. That will quickly show you download and upload speed. Literally, all you have to do is click the big button and wait a few moments for it to determine your speed, and it will display it. The single biggest thing that goes wrong when I travel still, even to this day, is this. And it's to the point where I will not book an Airbnb in Mexico unless I've confirmed the speed test before making the booking. I travel, but I also work, so this is essential for me. And I've been burned too many times by people telling me the Wi-Fi is great, that it's a certain speed, and I show up and it is not. So do yourself a favor, ask your host for a screenshot from a speed test so you know exactly what you're getting into. Moving right along, tip number 2, be aware that check-in times are sometimes flexible. Now, you might be able to check in earlier without paying extra. That's probably your goal. But it depends entirely on whether or not a guest is checking out beforehand and the unit needs to be cleaned. Ask for this at least a month ahead if you can, to see if check-in can be earlier depending on your flight or, let's say, a bus. Whenever it's arriving to the city, this can be hugely helpful. Or maybe you ask for a checkout that can be slightly later. At minimum, they'll let you know that you can drop off your bags, particularly if the booking is contingent on it. This has happened a few times. Not all hosts will let you do it, but normally they're pretty nice if you're nice too. So it's not a guarantee, but there's no harm in asking. I'm an Airbnb guest often, and as I mentioned, I'm also an Airbnb host. I have a house in Florida. So you can check this out at philpallen.house, but I accommodate early check-ins and late checkouts if I can, and when guests ask politely. So try it out. Next tip. Tip number 3, along the same lines, negotiate a better price. Disclaimer. I have not done this personally, but I'm still mentioning it because I've heard of other people doing it and succeeding. I don't mind paying the rate that is specified on the listing, particularly in Mexico where prices are already really affordable and fair, and wages here are typically lower. But if you're more aggressive than me or you're on a tight budget, there's a very good chance you can get a better price than what's listed if you ask. One reason I don't do this is because at my house in the US, I do not accept when people message me asking to stay in the house for a better price. But I know it works from some people. So if you're doing this, consider your approach. Be kind, be complimentary, and be patient. Hosts have the ability to send back a special price if you motivate them to do so. How can you motivate them? In addition to being nice, also consider my next tip. Tip number 4, stay places for longer if it's an option. The longer you stay, the better nightly rate that you're going to get and the more leverage you have to negotiate. After 7 days, hosts typically offer a discount on nightly prices. And after 30 days, the pricing model switches from days to months. And almost all hosts discount their monthly stays by 20 to 30% on average, potentially more. I've seen it as high as 50%. If your dates are flexible, that's even better. Airbnb recently added the ability to search flexible dates, so if there's flexibility, you have many, many more options to choose from. So there you have it, 4 tips for booking an Airbnb as a guest here in Mexico, but these rules typically apply everywhere else. And I gave you a little look at where I'm staying right now. This is one of the many beautiful Airbnbs in this awesome city and country. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever stayed in Mexico City before? Where? What's your favorite neighborhood? If not, is this a place you'd love to return to? Where is your favorite city in the world to visit? Any tips that I haven't mentioned that you think are good to know for other people booking an Airbnb? Let us know in the comments below. Keep an eye on those and I respond personally so we can keep the conversation going on down there. If you found this video helpful, I would totally appreciate a like and consider subscribing for more of my videos here on YouTube about traveling, building your personal brand. Next, I'm linking you through to some videos that I think you'll find useful, including one that I've made about the cost of living as a digital nomad in Mexico and my digital nomad desk setup. I think you'll like these. I'm Phil. Thanks for watching. Those videos are coming up next.